Let's talk storytelling and marketing. It is all the rage. Newsflash, storytelling has been used in marketing since marketing existed, right? Even before marketing and business. People communicated and passed things down through the generations primarily through stories. Now, in business and in marketing, we need to be able to tell stories. But how many stories do we need to tell? It's so easy to get overwhelmed because then we think, do we have to tell my life story? That sounds like a lot of work. I don't want to write my life story. I don't want to tell my life story. What do we do? Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Well, there's 3 stories that all of us need to be able to tell in our business if we want to succeed. So let me break this down. And good news, none of them have to be your life story. So the first story is your founder story. Your founder story. How you got into this line of work. The second story is your business story. How did your company start? How did your freelance business start? Even if you're a solopreneur, how did your blog or your podcast or your YouTube channel start? When was that date? Because those are 2 separate things, right? Those are 2 separate things. We got a guy named Jeff Bezos and we got Amazon, 2 different entities. While very closely associated, or one founded the other, they are separate entities, right? The third is the customer story. The transformation of someone who has worked with you, who has used your product, who has used your service, and whose life was changed as a result. It's those 3 stories, the founder story, the business story, and the customer story, that you need to be able to share at the drop of a hat. Now, real quick, how do we tell these stories? Mike, you said we don't have to tell our life story, but how do we tell these stories? I'm going to take a page out of Aristotle's study of dramatic narrative. Okay. So this is not a Mike Kim invention. This is like an Aristotle kind of, it's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. Right. But here's what we do. Every story starts out with an exposition. It's an introduction to what's going on, right? The setting. And then there is what writers call an inciting incident, an explosion, if you will, that sets the story into motion. And then the rest of the tale is about the resolution of that inciting incident. What you want to focus on is the inciting incident, the explosion. You want to start the story there. So let's talk about your founder story as an example. I got into marketing and branding. What was the explosion that set me down this path? It was meeting a gentleman in Colorado, Father's Day of 2009. It was at the top of the mountain in the industry that I was working in at the time. And after meeting him, I just said, I don't think I want this guy's life. What do I do now? It completely shifted my career path. Completely shifted it. Now, I go into more detail with that, but you can see there, I'm giving you details. I'm giving you some context. One quick storytelling tip. Be specific enough to be believable, but universal enough to be relevant. When you share from the inciting incident, it allows you to hit both with a few added details. 2009, Colorado, changed my career path. And I can expound on this more. So I have that founder story of what led me into marketing and branding. Now with the business story, it's just, when did you start the company? What was the inciting incident for you starting the company? 2013, I started my blog. 2014, I started my podcast. 2015, I launched my first coaching group online. You can talk about how those things started. What was the inciting incident that put those things into motion? And of course, with the transformation story for our customers and clients, that's real simple. What was the inciting incident? They met you. They used your product. They signed up for your service or your program, right? That's what you want to share. So again, 3 quick stories: founder story, business story, customer story. None of them have to be incredibly in-depth. You just need to start with the inciting incident so that the story moves into motion. Thanks for joining me today. Till next time, live your message, love your work, leave your mark on the world, and I will see you back here on the next episode.